We're absolutely delighted that you're here. My name is Greg Hodges. I have the great honor of serving as the president of Patrick and Henry Community College. The ceremony to dedicate the Gerald L. Baliles and Richard S. Reynolds Senior Learning Center is the culmination of years of work and partnerships between several agencies, all of which are dedicated to the education and employment opportunities of the citizens of Patrick County. I want to take just a moment and acknowledge a few of the many special guests we have in attendance today. From the Gerald Baliles family, we're delighted to have Mrs. Robin Baliles, Jonathan Baliles, and Laura Baliles Osberger, the late governor's wife, son, and daughter, respectively. Would you all stand so we can see you all and join me in thanking them for being here today? From the Richard S. Reynolds Sr. family, we have Richard Reynolds III, known to most of us as Major Reynolds, a nickname bestowed upon him by his great-grandfather, A.D. Reynolds, who was a major in the Army of Northern Virginia at the tender age of 17. Major, would you wave your hand or stand, whatever you feel comfortable doing? We also have Major's wife, Pam Reynolds, Major's first cousin, Dottie Reynolds Brotherton, Dottie's daughter, Lisa Reynolds, and Major's nephew, J. Sergeant Reynolds, Jr. Would you all stand for me, please? If you know anything about the Virginia Community College system, you're quite familiar with the name J. Sergeant Reynolds, so we're delighted to welcome you all today in this nice, balmy afternoon that we ordered up for you. We're deeply also honored to recognize other special guests in attendance today. If you are part of this group, I'm just going to ask you to raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. Members of the Patrick and Henry Community College Board, would you wave your hand for me, please? Thank you for being here. Members, it's all right, it's all good. Members of the Patrick and Henry Community College Foundation, would you wave your hand? Thank you for being here today. We also want to acknowledge several individuals of the Patrick County Board of Supervisors, Jane Falk, Crystal Harris, and Bryce Simmons, the town manager. Thank you for being here. Members of the Patrick County Education Foundation, would you wave your hand? Thank you for being here today. And Delegate-elect Ren Williams, thank you for joining us today as well. We appreciate your presence. You're going to hear this afternoon from speakers representing the Baliles and Reynolds families. You'll also hear from the chair of the Patrick County Education Foundation and the chair of the Patrick and Henry Community College Foundation. I think you'll quickly see that all of these speakers share a love for this community, a passion for these people, and an unbridled hope in the economic possibilities of this region. There's one other trait that you'll see binds everyone at the podium today, and that is a deep respect, admiration, and love for native son Governor Gerald Baliles, whose vision for this facility was the spark that ignited a major expansion of Patrick and Henry Community College into Patrick County. I'm a person of deep faith, and I enjoyed my mentorship with Governor Baliles, who was a mentor to me, and we spent many hours discussing issues related to faith. So I'm confident that he's smiling on us today, doubtless taking copious notes that he wants preserved in the record, and I hope he's beaming with pride. I also believe that Governor Baliles was one of the last true statesmen in politics. He told me often that he was not a politician, but that he ran against quite a few of them. So I hope he's called over today a few others of his fellow statesmen and stateswomen, and collectively they are watching while Governor Baliles looks over and says, "Look what we've accomplished in this county that I love so dearly." It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the chair of the Patrick County Education Foundation, Dr. Stuart Robertson. Dr. Robertson.
Good afternoon. Today, a vision is realized, and a hometown visionary and statesman is celebrated. Governor Baliles always remembered and honored his roots. He embodied and extolled the inextricable connection between education and community and individual vitality. He pushed for investment in education, and he formed the Patrick County Education Foundation as a vehicle to underscore that passion here at home. He brought along many of us to join him on this journey. Many of you will recognize the names of Joe Vipperman and Roger Anglin and Rick Cole and dozens of others who heeded his call to pursue this passion and this mission. Today, we're joined by members of the Patrick County Education Foundation Board who carry on that legacy and who've made the same commitment. Ron Haley, Bryce Simmons, Mary Handy, Greg Hodges. We also have Rebecca Adcock with us. We have Ren Williams, and Crystal Harris is a former member of the board, and I'm sorry if I've missed others who may be in attendance today. But we also count Laura Baliles Osberger, and we also count Robin Baliles as valuable members of our board. The last time many of us gathered here was with Jerry Baliles. Robin, his caring and loving partner, was present, giving him the inspiration to hold forth as he described the history of and the vision for the Patrick County Education Foundation, for this center, and for Patrick education generally. His and hers is a vision that has taken root across Virginia with the Rural Virginia Horseshoe Initiative. Robin, Laura, John, and the entire Baliles family have embraced that vision vigorously and continue to offer us the inspiration to celebrate this milestone and more to come. Robin's successful career has been in fundraising for public broadcasting, in business development for nonprofit foundations, and in executive consulting and marketing, public relations, and strategic planning. Presently, she is the president of the Contemporary Club, a lecture group for professional women in Charlottesville. She's a director on the board of the Virginia Environmental Endowment. She's an ambassador for UVA's Performing Arts Center. And she's a member of the Virginia Bar Association Special Issues Committee. And today, most importantly, she is here as a dear friend and supporter of the Patrick County Education Foundation, which she serves as an honorary director. Please join me in welcoming Robin Baliles.
I don't think I speak quite as loudly as the two speakers before me, but I'll try to make certain that you hear me. First of all, thank you everyone for being here today to celebrate with us. We appreciate it more than you can possibly know. Stuart, thank you for that nice introduction. I appreciate it. And as you know, my daughter and son are here. We have two more daughters who could not be here, Kathy and Danielle, and four granddaughters who are working in college, in school, and they are sorry they couldn't be with us on this great day of celebration, but they're here in spirit, and I bring greetings to you from them as well. Dr. Robertson and Dr. Hodges, thank you for reminding us about how we got here today. Patrick County Education Foundation, that history and that work that was done here in this community to help elevate the role of education among Patrick County's citizens. It was very important to my husband that happened. Now today we are looking at the Patrick County Education Foundation, the Patrick and Henry Community College Foundation, and the town of Stuart, who made this building behind us possible, as well as the Reynolds family and the Reynolds Foundation. We're so happy that you're here to help us celebrate as well. And I don't want to forget one other person, Dr. Angeline Godwin, who I understand through her patience and her persistence helped in moving this project and this vision forward. Excuse me while I work through my notes. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and friends, my husband, Gerald Lee Baliles, a Patrick County native and the 65th governor of Virginia, would have been humbled and honored by this dedication, placing his name with that of Richard S. Reynolds Sr. on this building where advanced manufacturing workforce training will happen. Representing the Reynolds family today, you've heard Major Reynolds is here, along with his wife Pam, Reynolds Foundation representatives. And perhaps Major might remember this, and he might remember it a little bit differently. But I was in the room where it happened when Major and Jerry had several conversations by telephone about what was what they were trying to accomplish here, and also what the name might be. Jerry felt very strongly that it should be Richard S. Reynolds Sr., your grandfather, and honoring him. And you insisted that Jerry's name be connected with your grandfather's. And I want to say that our family, I'm sorry? Guys, Major said, we're cousins. Well, so those conversations, the ideas about funding and naming the facility were discussed. And Major, our family is grateful to you and the Reynolds Foundation for the significant and, in fact, transformational gift that the foundation made to support this vision of this learning center and what it's going to make possible among the citizens, and is already making possible among the citizens of Patrick County. That our governor's name is presented above with your grandfather's name is very meaningful to us as a family. In closing, I want to read an excerpt from Governor Baliles' speech made during the August 27, 2019 opening of this wonderful facility behind me. We hope the citizens of the town and county will fill the classrooms, for the Patrick County Education Foundation believes that as education goes here, so goes the future of this place that many call home. So thank you very much.
Before I get into mine, I'd like to recognize another member of our Patrick County Education Foundation Board and the former superintendent of schools in Patrick County, Dean Gilbert. I certainly am glad to see such a crowd here today. It is a wonderful, wonderful day for Patrick County. Just great, yes it is. It's my honor and my pleasure to introduce to you Richard Major Reynolds. And if you are native of Patrick County, you're very familiar with the Reynolds name. They have played a great role in the development and the success of Patrick County for well over a century. And for them, we very much appreciate that, and it continues on with this building. Richard Reynolds is a current member of the State Board of Virginia Community College System and has a wealth of experience both as a former state legislator and a prolific fundraiser. He was elected to the Virginia House of Delegates in 1975. Mr. Reynolds was presented with the 2009 William P. Robinson Senior Medal by the Virginia Legislative Black Caucus. Throughout his career, Mr. Reynolds has chaired a variety of nonprofit fundraisers, which include the United Negro College Fund campaign in 1982, and more recently, the Feed More Capital campaign in 2017. He would go on to serve as honorary chairman of the J. Sargent Reynolds Community College Capital campaign from 2006 to 2010, and Mr. Reynolds would also co-chair the Civil Rights Memorial Fundraising Committee, which raised $2.5 million over a 3-year period. Mr. Reynolds currently serves as managing director of the Reynolds Trusts. He previously worked as vice president of mergers and acquisitions for the Richmond-based Robert Shaw Controls Company. And Mr. Reynolds is a graduate of 1956 of Princeton University. I give you Mr. Reynolds.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Hodges. It's a real pleasure for us to be here today with Dr. Hodges, Ron Healy, Stuart Robertson, and all of you. I want to thank Ron Healy for that lovely introduction. As I've said before, the individuals at the Virginia, at the headquarters of the Virginia Community College System, who wrote that, did a spectacular job of making a silk purse out of a pig's ear. And the other members of the Reynolds family who are here today, my cousin Dottie Reynolds Brotherton, my nephew Sarge Reynolds Jr., and my wife Pam, all feel really privileged to be part of these ceremonies because of the individuals for whom this facility is being named. Jerry Baliles, our friend and cousin, actually, and in our case, our grandfather and great-grandfather, Richard S. Reynolds Sr. This learning facility is going to have a significant effect on the economic and workforce development of Patrick County going forward. And I know if both of these individuals were here today, they would feel particularly honored by its being named for them, because for most of their lives, both of them worked very hard to create better economic opportunity for other people. Richard S. Reynolds, our grandfather, was an extraordinarily visionary and courageous individual. His most important and impactful decision that he made during his work life was at the time of World War II, when he literally risked all of the assets he had in the world to go into the basic production of aluminum. That decision ultimately broke the back of the last great industrial monopoly in this country, which was in aluminum, and it allowed his company to produce significant amounts of the metal that was used in the manufacture of airplanes and other war products that were essential to us winning World War II. And after the war was over and Reynolds, the company, turned to household products, it invented Reynolds Wrap, its most famous product, which revolutionized kitchens and is still widely in use today. Now, our grandfather, Richard Reynolds, had done many other things before that. He began when he was working at Reynolds Tobacco with his uncle, R.J., when he invented a revolutionary new metal container that was used for Prince Albert smoking tobacco. And he also, which is interesting, came up with the blend of tobacco that ultimately became Camel cigarettes. So when he left Reynolds and went into business for himself, he founded a company that ultimately became Reynolds Metals, which at the time of World War II was the largest manufacturer of aluminum foil in the world. In addition to all of that, he found the time to write poetry. And this is true. I mean, he wrote enough poetry so that by the end of his life, he was known as the poet industrialist, which I would suggest is a unique combination of talents, rarely found. And he worked at the company until he died in 1955. And throughout that time, he found a way to be a loving and beloved grandfather that all of us call Pop. And that's why his descendants who are here today feel so particularly privileged to be part of these ceremonies. And we very much appreciate being asked to be here because today is the day that will live in our memories forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Well, you've heard lots of accolades today, and I want to close with one more. We are so grateful to the town of Stuart, and in particular to Mayor Ray Weiland and to Attorney Chris Corbett, whose vision, as you heard today, was acknowledged and recognized early on and instrumental in us bringing this to fruition. I want to once again thank our guests for being in attendance today. I know you're chilly. We're going to go inside. We clearly heard, I hope, that the Patrick County Education Foundation is committed to the continued educational attainment of this region. This is one of the many accomplishments in the last 2 decades of the PCF, which just last year adopted a new goal which reads as follows. By 2025, the percentage of Patrick County adults with a post-high school credential will equal or surpass surrounding counties or locales. PCEF, P&HCC, the EDA, and any other alphabet acronym that's involved all recognize that the way to preserve the population of this gorgeous county, the way to maximize economic growth, and the way to increase the median wage for the families of Patrick County is by promoting credential attainment beyond high school. That's why PCEF's newest project is called the Patrick Promise. Most everyone in our community is familiar with Harvest Foundation's SEED program at Patrick and Henry Community College. It covers 100% of the cost of tuition, textbook, and fees for high school students in Martinsville and Henry County, the region served by Harvest. PCEF's Patrick Promise does the exact same thing for the citizens of Patrick County. The good news is that we're already halfway there. Because of the statewide G3 program, local and regional scholarships, and the reallocation of resources within the P&HCC Foundation, 48% of the students from Patrick County are already attending P&HCC free to the family. To ensure that we're able to fund that remaining half, PCEF is committed to the Patrick Promise and ensuring that the citizens of Patrick County continue to reap the educational benefit. Finally, we want to thank you for your attention today. We invite you to come inside, warm up, get some hot beverages, tour the facility. Thank you for coming.